following up and, of course, engaging and ensuring that motorsport is back. I have been in the dark in motorsport, I can confess that. Behind the scenes, definitely, I have a good friend called the chairman of 254 Motorsports Club, that is Sushil, who has told me to open up my heart. I'm opening up my heart, yes, I've missed motorsport, and I'm very happy that indeed motorsport is back. I have the head of legal team of Motorsports Kenya Federation. Let me use Federation, they can correct me. And please, anything I say here does not stand or symbolize or make the stand of TV47 before I get any papers at my gate after this show. However, Tariq Khan, thank you very much for making time.
Thank you.
I hope I'm legally protected for everything I've said.
First of all,
unless otherwise, I will be coming at your door. Thank you for coming.
Tony, thank you for having us here, and good evening to all the viewers watching this.
Thank you very much. That's Tariq Khan, of course, the head of legal team Motorsports Kenya. We also have the general secretary of Motorsports Kenya, that is one of Kenya's top navigators and, of course, drivers in motorsport, that is Eric Bengi. Karibu sana.
Good afternoon, viewers.
It's good to see you. The last time I saw you was in my previous station, working station, but it's good to see you again. These gentlemen, when they're in the cockpit, they never get old. And also, of course, I'm also happy this particular afternoon to have a legend, a veteran in motorsport. His name, of course, he has done everything, literally, virtually, in motorsport. A lot of the likes of the Eric Bengis, myself, you name all the names that you see in motorsport currently have one way or the other gone through the hands of Ian Duncan, who is also the founding member of Motorsports Kenya. Karibu sana, Ian Duncan.
Thank you.
He, of course, yeah, and I'm happy, of course, to see you in studio. This is the very first time ever in my 20 years career of motorsport that I'm hosting Ian Duncan in studio. So indeed, this is a historic day to
escape.
And behind the scenes, of course, here we have the likes of Altaf Ganacha, of course, and the spouse, as well as Sushil Gohil, that is, of course, the Motorsports 254 chairman, as well as, that is Neil, right? Neil Gohil, right?
Amarganath and Neil are here.
Yes, and the son. I hosted the Miam. Why am I forgetting my mind? And also we have the Global Dimension CEO, Kome Kazungu, as well, who is here, of course, to make this interview. Let's get into it. Tariq, you are the head of legal, just to set the tone of this. You recently say that you want the Register of Sports in Kenya to hasten the steps to recognize Motorsports Kenya as the official federation representing motorsport in Kenya. How are we so far with that?
Thank you, Tony. So, as you're aware, 30th of April, we had a decision from the High Court, okay, effectively agreeing with what the Sports Tribunal had said, upholding the decision of the Sports Tribunal. In effect, that means that the national sporting organization in Kenya for motorsport is Motorsports Kenya.
Yes.
Okay. I'm glad you said that we had Kenya Motorsports Federation, and I believe that is where they belong in the past. Mm-hmm. We need to go into the future now. Okay. Mm. The courts have spoken. The legal path is now clear. Okay. The courts affirmed what we knew all along. All the registrar has to do is her statutory duty. Mm. We're not asking her, we're not demanding her. She basically just has to do what the court said, and the court is asking her to do what the law says. So where are we? Our documents are in. It's just a matter of time. She needs to just give us the certificate of registration. Mm. And once we have that in hand, then Motorsport Kenya is the recognized national sporting federation in Kenya, the legally recognized body.
It's been a long battle, General Secretary Eric Bengi. Yourself, of course, having been in motorsport, yourself hands-on, literally, in the sections, on the service areas and all that. You've organized all these particular events in motorsport. Here we are. How is that transition looking like? You're coming from KMSF. We are here in this legal battle on the tail end of it. And then, of course, you have this responsibility to ensure now we start forging forward. How are we with that now, of course? And remember, all the stakeholders, of course, want to hear some very positive words from you.
Yes, thank you very much, Tony. First and foremost, let me say, we started building our house from a very solid base. and the solid base is what we are now seeing the fruits from the court. We have a very, very strong constitution, a constitution that is very forward-thinking, that takes care of all the stakeholders' interests in one bucket. I'll give you a few highlights.
Yes.
And I'll do this by way of Q&A.
Okay.
What has been the problem? The problem has been that there has been no motorsport federation in Kenya. When the law changed in 2013, there was no registered federation from that time.
Just a bit, General Secretary, I understand we just have a technical issue with your voice. Just before we bring you in, let me allow the founding member of Motorsports Kenya, Ian Duncan, just to chip in as we fix that technical sound issue with you. Ian, yeah, of course, Ian Duncan has done it. I mean, he's a champion, former champion, and has been a champion so far. I remember I was very happy during the recent the World Rally Safari World Rally Championship in Naivasha. I saw, of course, his wealth of experience and guidance during this international event. Definitely Motorsport is in safe hands. Him being also the founding member of Motorsports Kenya. I'm sure you are happy so far with the kind of progress that Motorsport Kenya, or MK, has made. What next? Ian, what next? What next? I know you're planning events. Events were dead so far. From my point of view, I could be wrong, but events were dead. No one was interested. Marshals were not interested. No one was volunteering. Any hopes for all this kind of ecosystem? What are they looking at in the near future?
Okay, events weren't really dead. They were just continuing quietly. I mean, autocrosses, tarmac racing, rally raids, RX were all progressing as club events under 254. Motorsport under KMSF was dead, which was fine because it's been dying for a while anyway. So 254 has been actively running events with some other clubs, Rift Valley, Equatorial. We had a great classic rally the other day. So we just have to look for the future, build back the confidence so we can get some proper sponsors on board, help all the drivers, help especially the youngsters. We missed out a lot of that. KMSF actually went out of their way to disencourage youngsters, which is disgraceful considering they're the future of our sport. So yeah, we just need to look forward to that and building it back again, and trying to rescue the Kenyan National Rally Championship, which was the biggest part of what's fallen apart. But yeah, whether that can be done or whether the FIA and there's too many other factors, but it's something we have to try. So.
Of course, I'll later on bring in either, of course, Tariq and Bengi to share, of course. I know you recently said there will be elections. After elections, there will be registration. Members will be able to join clubs, will be able to join. Then, of course, will be the big one, of course, now presenting your papers to the FIA, the World Governing Body Motorsport. And let me just bring in Tariq on that, of course, the head of legal of Motorsports Kenya. Let me just get into it. FIA. I know FIA has been watching closely the happenings of what is happening, of course, in Kenya between you, I mean, whatever has been happening in motorsport, in the state of motorsport. Any communique that you received from them, or how does it look in terms of what are we expecting when you go and say or make your presentation that you're the official body?
Yes, so there's two things here. The FIA recognizes one body in a country as the ASN, right? So right now, the ASN is the former federation. We're in the process. Once we get the certificate of registration,
Yes.
what then happens? Okay, then we need to take it to the next level, which means we need to put in our papers. They need to look at our papers, and there's a transition from there. There's a process that takes place, right? I can't get into what the process is, but there's a process.
Yes.
It's not a very long process, okay? There is goodwill, okay? You must understand, FIA will have to also respect the sovereignty of Kenyan law.
Yes.
Okay? So they are, I think, right now, I can't speak for them, but it's looking good. The government is happy, the sponsors are happy, FIA is happy. So in terms of that, it's just a logistical situation that we have, and it will just be seamless.
General Secretary, of course, let me bring you in. Sorry for interrupting you with our with our sound technical force. I'm sure you sorted it out. Apologies for that, but as General Secretary. However, you're actually in the process of actually, sharing that. Please, you may proceed with it. Tough for that. I'm sorry for that.
Not a problem.
Now, already you had read the press notes. Now they are reversing you again.
Yes.
Yeah.
You had asked me what next now that we have the judgment.
Yes.
In terms of how we have organized ourselves to move forward. And that is where we're starting from. And I was saying that we have started on a very solid base of a very solid constitution.
Yes. Yeah.
And we have looked at what has been the problem, what has been ailing us,
Yes.
and how can we prevent it from happening in the future. And the first thing that we have done in terms of structures is to have a self-governing structure that ensures constitutionalism.
Yes.
Constitutionalism is where a system is self-rejuvenating and it is self-checking. The way you have in government, there's the judiciary, the executive, then there's also
Legislative,
the legislative. So in our structure, we have a similar structure where we have the trustees at the helm of the organization. And trustees, we are looking for eminent personalities. One of them is just seated next to me. People who have a vision, people who have been in the sport, people who have the goodwill of the sport to run it forward.
Yes.
Then we have the executive, and the executive is statutorily required under the Sports Act. You have the chairperson, the secretary, the treasurer, and the vice chair. Those are the people who run the day-to-day activities. And for us, what we saw, we realized that you cannot, as 4 people, run the entire motorsports across all the counties. And we thought it is very wise to involve the counties. So we created 5 regions so that they contribute into the executive. So our executive constitutes of the statutory 4 plus another 5 who represent the counties. And these county representatives that take care of the county interests where they are charged.
Yeah.
And they are also elected by the clubs in those counties so that they represent them in the national executive. Yes. And they sit in each and every meeting of the national executive. So much so that nothing happens at this top level where the counties are not involved. And that ensures that we disseminate all the information. We have opportunities from all over the country coming from all the interested parties. Then more so, what has been the hue and cry of the athletes is that they are not involved at all. They are not involved in anything. If you have a complaint, you are told you go to your club. Your club, you'll never find it. Many of them are briefcase clubs. Maybe the owner of the club is long dead, so there's nobody to complain to. And that is the structure, unfortunately, the former regime had adopted. So what have we done about that? One, we have a structure for reviewing and ensuring that all the federation members, that is the constituent clubs, have met and they are active and they are conducting their elections and they are conducting their activities to ensure that they are actually alive. Yeah. And membership in a club makes sense. You don't just go to a club to get a membership certificate, to get a license. No. It needs to be a thriving club where there is activities that happen there. Then the other very important thing is that our electorate will be the license holders. That is the athletes and the officials. Okay. Then they also have a criteria for participating in activities throughout the year so that they're eligible. Come the elections, they're eligible to vote. So much so that I cannot go to Muranga and import, 400 guys to come and vote for me. No, there's a structure and there's a athletes register. There's a license holders register to ensure that we know what you do in motorsports. Even for you as a media person, you need to take a license.
Yeah, certainly.
So that we know that Tony is a media person in motorsports, and these are the areas that
Yes.
he's interested in, and this is what he covers. We are also able to discipline you, so that you are also able to claim rights from us. If we misbehave,
Then
you have a right. So that is the basic structure that we have created.
Yeah.
Now, the other very important thing,
Yes.
and this again is statutory, the law requires that we must hold elections every 4 years, maximum. How do
When
we-
are you planning to do elections?
The first one is required within 90 days.
After the registrar?
After
Yes.
registration, 90 days. We are ready for that.
Okay.
The second one is after 4 years. How do you ensure that that is, I mean, as the chairman, if I become the chairman, I don't decide that I'm not going to do that, to hold the elections, and I postpone it for another 5 years. There's a structure.
Okay.
And that is where the trustees come in. They can initiate the process. Because these are the the overseers. The trustees are the overseers of what all of us are doing. They can initiate an automatic system to kickstart the elections.
Okay.
So, by and large, I think with that we'll be in a very, very good standing to ensure a credible sport, a credible federation, forward thinking, and that is all inclusive to all the stakeholders.
And I hope my good friend Carl Tundo, a legend and a star, of course, in motorsport, the interim chairman of
Yes.
Motorsport Kenya, wherever you are. I remember you released a very important statement the other day during the press conference. You say that some people are asking you how the process will look like, and you said, of course, the preparation had been put into it. Let me bring in Ian Duncan. Ian Duncan, of course, I know you've done a lot of preparations, a lot of thinking behind Motorsports Kenya. And internationally, of course, I know locally we have, just the way General Secretary has mentioned, internationally, how are we looking like, Ian Duncan, in terms of how people are perceiving Kenya? Because back in the day, rally in Kenya, that's why people used to come here. In the region, we were the, one of the few countries in Africa where motorsport was big, and people are actually yearning and looking at how to, to emulate it to their countries. How are we looking like internationally during this very tumultuous period of ups and downs? And how do you look right now? I know you've done the rally, WRC. I don't know if you're doing it next year. I mean, that depends on so many factors. But how was Kenya looking like in motorsport? Because I know, of course, the likes of Alistair Kavanagh, the likes of Baldi Chaga, the big names in motorsport were very concerned. The international community was concerned. Tell us, of course, how, in a nutshell, in summary, how it looked like from the international scene, how we look like right now, and what do you think, of course, about the future?
From the outside, we ran a brilliant WRC event. It was really, really good. I think it puts pretty much all the others into the shade because we have so much excitement in our rally. No one knows the next stage whether it's going to be rain, thunderstorms, dust, or animals. Anything can change. The terrain changes. We have one of the best rallies in the world for that. So sadly, it's a little bit of a TV thing for the internationals to come and use our country. But if that's what we have to do, it's great for the country. It's great for everyone here. On the African Rally Championship, we're struggling a bit. I mean, we have a few people there. Saman and Karen, they're at the moment first and second in Uganda, which is quite good. So Kenya's still showing a good flag to the world so far. As long as they don't delve in too much, then. But yeah, WRC is famous for lastminute.com. We'll do miracles last week where I don't think there's many places in the world can ever do that. We think the whole place falling apart, and then you just see brilliant event TV. They manage to show everything fine. So yeah, it's just something we have to work on ourselves, make our own scene better, get the sponsorship, encourage the younger generation, the kids, to come, and then so that we can keep the future going. But that's what's important for us.
Yeah, indeed, of course, and I was very happy, of course, to see some of the, recently I hosted, of course, you heard the General Secretary speak about the Motorsport Awards, the most Motorsport Awards that are held, of course, at Windsor Golf Hotel and Country Club recently. Eric, General Secretary, can speak about that, Bengi. But Tariq, of course, at the head of legal team, Motorsports Kenya, of course, your words in terms of of course, the previous Motorsport Federation had their issues. You're different from them. How are we going to work around creating the confidence with partners, sponsors, other people, of course, how are we going to ensure that they warm up to Motorsports Kenya? Because, yeah, there's that transition period, which I'm sure it's tricky, but of course you have all the preparations done, just as the interim chairman had mentioned.
So let's make a compare and contrast. Last 1 year, KMSF has had no events, okay? We have had those clubs that are Sports Act compliant, okay, and who are going to be part of, say, Motorsports Kenya. An example is 254.
Yes.
Make the comparison. The goodwill is there. But where does the goodwill go to? It goes to a system. So we're talking about governance,
Yes.
accountability, transparency, right? To digress, the former federation was what you'd call an all-men's club, the boys' club that sit in that corner, drink whiskey and cigar. 12 people are running that for the whole country. There's no openness. There's no stability. You're not going to touch it. We are moving away from that. It's not we are changing. I think that's where people get it wrong. The former federation was dead in 2014. But what we can talk from a legal perspective. That's the reason why they said they're an illegal entity. They were not legally compliant.
Oh, yeah.
You would never want to touch anything that is not legally compliant. So first thing first, Motorsport Kenya is legally compliant. Secondly, Motorsport Kenya is not about individuals. It's not about individual positions. It's about governance. It's about a system. You yourself said it's an ecosystem. Once you have an ecosystem, right, everything is protected. You will only give me your monies when you know there's going to be some return on that investment, money, or whatever it is, and you can only do that if you have a system that is legally known, okay? It's there. When things were happening, you had the sponsors who would come out there. You would have your so-called 87 entries in an event. If you are having 2 parallel events and you call yourself the federation and you can't even get 6 people to take part in your event, right? And you have another event that is being done by a club. Sponsors came out. As Ian said, last weekend you had the Equatorial Classic.
Yes.
It's a standalone event. Look at what happened in that event. People came out in numbers. Fantastic entry.
Yeah.
Could have been better. Everybody enjoyed it. Sponsors came out. Money will only follow where there is something that they know there's a security. So what MK is doing is simply now saying, here is the system. We have now complied with what you didn't do. If the former federation had done what it had to do in 2014, we would not be having this conversation. The question is, why didn't they do that, right? We are only making sure that we are in compliance.
Maybe if you're just joining us, we are speaking about the state of motorsport in Kenya. It's very important to beginning this conversation, especially after the news that we earlier shared with you about Motorsports Kenya. And of course, the ruling by the High Court regarding, of course, that appeal that, of course, was quashed by the High Court in terms of now recognizing the legality and saying that the previous KMSF does not have a legal standing, according, of course, to what was presented to the court. And that's, of course, opens up a very important phase of motorsport in Kenya. General Secretary, of course, I have like under 2 minutes or 3 minutes. Recently, of course, I mentioned about the Motorsports Excellence Awards on March 28th at Windsor Golf Hotel. I'm looking at sponsors. Some of the people who have stood by you. Despite what was happening, motorsport was going on. Speak about that, just in a nutshell, of course. Who are these people who are behind there? I know 254 Motorsports Club, through their leadership of Social, of course, have been at the forefront, and many other clubs in the country that, of course, have been organizing motorsport events.
Yes. Actually, we've not lost a heartbeat, if I may say so, as MK, even during these shenanigans that has been going on. So what we did, and from a very strategic point of view, we recognize the difficulties we might have if we do not have, a compliant club with us. And that is why we took the first step, have a recognized motorsports club registered under the Sports Act.
Yes.
254 Motorsports Club, running our activities. And if you remember very well, in 2025, they actually ran the WRC Safari Rally KNRC. And we ran that with a court order.
Okay, I
because
remember that.
our competitors were very, very frustrated. They did not know where to get a license. They did not know who to go to. And the WRC office was not giving them any accommodation. So we took it upon ourselves and 254 to go to the tribunal and request that, can you allow us run this event? And those orders were given because we were compliant. Now, what we did in the 2025 season, we ran an entire season of Autocross and Autocross Plus. Very, very thrilling. When we started off with about 5 or 6 youngsters. In our last event of the season, we had about 21 below 18. I don't know where those children came from, but they were there.
They are there.
You can imagine.
A huge other.
Yes. So athletes, we don't have shortage of athletes. We don't have shortage of volunteers. We don't have shortage of sponsors. It's only that we have not been organized. So what have we been doing about it? The first thing that we did was, again, in our constitution, we created a financial structure, a financial administration structure, so that we know when we get money, how do we even distribute the money? The law also requires some governance transparency on that, and we have exemplified it so that it is very clear to our members how to do this. Now, the other very important thing that we have brought into this cake is that we have a category of sponsors as members of the federation.
Yes, okay.
Sponsors, institutions, both government and private, event organizers, and then your ordinary clubs. So that we ensure that all these people are sitting in our ecosystem, and whatever they require as members, they're entitled to. Any sponsor who wants to look at our accounts, they are open. We don't mind. I mean, there's nothing to hide. So that again, we bring the confidence to the entire fraternity.
Okay.
Now, from a membership point of view.
Yes, in 30 seconds.
Yes, again, we have gone far and wide. We are reaching out, as the law requires, to everybody. A federation is supposed to be a public enterprise, and that is how we have structured it.
Okay, and of course, as we see those pictures on your screen, remember we are live speaking about motorsport in Kenya, or the state of motorsport in Kenya. And we are having, of course, the head of legal team, that is Tariq Khan. We also have the founding member of Motorsports Kenya, that is Ian Duncan, as well as the General Secretary of Motorsports Kenya, that is Eric Bengi. If you're wondering why Ian Duncan, the 6-time rally champion and more, is holding his hands together, is because he's used to holding and putting his hands on the steering wheel. You don't have one. And you don't have one here. We are sorry, Ian. He's used to here, so there's no... So, of course, Ian, as we wind up, we're supposed to take a break, but Ian, I just want to say for 1 minute, for the benefit, because we saw the youngsters during your launch, they've been yearning, of course, the way General Secretary mentioned about, they were huge in your last event. There were many young riders, driver and all that coming for the event. Any hope for the young ones? You mentioned about it, of course, during your press conference, but the young ones, what should we expect for this coming up? I hear on the 16th of this month, there's an event, if I'm not wrong. Yes, on 16th. Ian Duncan, they're looking at you, the young ones. We also have a young one here. Give them hope, those, of course, who will be looking forward to participating in the events this season.
So last rally, Equatorial in Boy, they held an absolutely brilliant event.
Yes.
Very friendly, helpful, encouraging, which has been sadly missing. The KMSF could be quite spiteful and destroy things and not encourage anyone. But this rally, they went all out to encourage people. Flash turned up with his 13-year-old son to navigate. I mean, and they came second overall. And he is Billy. He actually was a very good navigator. It's like sure, Flash is a very good driver, but you don't do that without a good navigator. And you know, I've never understood why your navigator has to have a driving license. I mean, yeah, a competition license, that's fine, but a driving license, that's the last thing as a driver you want to do is let your navigator drive your car. So it's like you know, and probably we'd be quite bad navigators. So it's fine. You know, we have our job, he has his job. But you know, they don't mind if you have some 60-year-old with glasses and he can't read, but he can navigate. But a 13-year-old would never have been allowed to navigate before. Yeah. So that's what we need. Just some common sense, enthusiasm, encourage youngsters. And why not? It's like mostly on private lands. Yeah. It's all closed, and that's what happens. And then that rally, we actually had 6 brand new navigators. Most of them like 18, 20, 22. Piers Dakin's navigators very young. That's what we need to encourage. That's what we're here for. So 254 has been working on that, and you know, at the end of the day, you just need a club and a good attitude. As long as things are running smoothly, we don't hardly even need a federation. We need a federation for sponsors, global awareness, the FIA, that kind of thing. But to run a fun event and encourage people to enter, the clubs can do that by themselves.
Indeed. Thank you very much, Ian Duncan, founding member of Motorsport Kenya, the incoming federation. I hope I'm protected here legally, of Motorsport in Kenya. We also have the General Secretary of Motorsports Kenya, that is Eric Bengi, as well as the head of legal team of Motorsports Kenya, that is Tariq Khan. Thank you very much, gentlemen, really indeed, for making time. I know this conversation, we just created the beginning of these conversations. We shall be having them at least even weekly or after every 2 weeks, just to assess so far where we are, of course, with the registration. So, gentlemen, thank you very much indeed. They represent a wider team and, of course, a wider population of motorsports, both fans and those, of course, who are right into it. So thank you very much, and well done, of course, so far, the progress you've made. Send my regards, of course, to interim chairman, Mr. Flash, and of course, on behalf of Global Dimension Communication CEO and Managing Director Koome Kazungu, asante sana. 254 Motorsports Club Chairman Sushil Sana, asante sana. Altaf Ganatra, and of course, many others who are actually behind this success story. Endeleeni kufinya. This, of course, is Sports Extravaganza. My name is Sonny Kwalanda. We're taking a very short break. We'll be back with more. Don't go away.